Some numbers are just numbers, but not tonight. Welcome to UFC 317, Topuria vs. Oliveira, where Las Vegas isn't just the fight capital of the world. Tonight, it's the numerology capital of combat sports. We got two title fights, rising killers and knockout artists, all crammed into one explosive card. But here's the twist the casuals will miss. 7 fighters on this card carry either driver number 8 or destiny number 8, the number of karmic power, resilience, and unshakable ambition. These are the warriors who rise from the ashes, the ones who crush setbacks and forge their path with cold precision. And right behind them, 6 fighters aligned with the Mystic 7, seekers of truth, unpredictable wildcards, the spiritual assassins of the octagon. They fight with feeling, with timing, with destiny on their side. That's 13 fighters out of this card, shaped by the powerful frequencies of 8 and 7. And this isn't just coincidence, it's cosmic warfare. We've seen what happens when destiny numbers align with universal dates before: upsets, underdogs rising, champions falling. So don't blink tonight, because one of these 8s may bulldoze his way to the belt, while a 7 channels intuition to flip the script. Ilia Topuria is chasing double gold. Charles Oliveira wants his crown back. Pantoja vs. France, Royval vs. Van, Smith vs. Price, and storm of chaos from the prelims to the main event. This isn't just another fight night. This is numerology in motion. This is fate throwing hands. Welcome to UFC 317, where 8s bring power and 7s bring chaos. And only one path leads to victory. UFC 317 Ilia Topuria vs. Charles Oliveira on June 28, 2025. A blockbuster clash awaits in the featherweight division as Ilia Topuria defends his undefeated record against Brazilian submission legend Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira. It's the rise of the new guard versus the resurgence of a former champion, and the octagon is the only place where questions will be answered. Ilia Topuria, 16-0-0. Born on January 21st and fighting out of Spain, Ilia El Matador Topuria stands 5 feet 7 inches with a 69-inch reach, a pressure-heavy striker with knockout power, dangerous grappling, and elite finishing instincts. Strengths: explosive boxing with finishing power, excellent top control and submissions, confident, composed, and undefeated momentum. Weaknesses: shorter reach for the division, still untested in deep championship rounds, can get wild when chasing the finish. Numerology edge: Ilia is a driver 3 and life path 3, full of creativity, aggression, and boldness. On June 28, 2025, a universal day 7, his energy doesn't fully align. The 3 thrives on expression, while the 7 prefers introspection, making this a tricky, energetic day for him. Path to victory: Topuria must explode early with clean combinations, stuff takedowns, and keep the fight standing. If he controls range and tempo, his pressure and finishing instincts could overwhelm Oliveira before the veteran finds his rhythm. Charles Oliveira, 35-10-0. Born on October 17th and fighting out of Brazil, Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira stands 5 feet 10 inches with a 74-inch reach, a record-holding finisher with dangerous submissions, wild Muay Thai striking, and unmatched heart. Strengths: UFC's all-time leader in submissions, long frame with creative striking, experience in high-pressure fights and championship rounds. Weaknesses: vulnerable when pressured early, chin has been tested in brawls, tends to get reckless when exchanging in the pocket. Numerology edge: Oliveira is a driver 8 and life path 9. The universal day 7 supports introspection, timing, and spiritual endurance, aligning well with his mature, veteran energy. Life path 9 thrives in moments of transformation and legacy, and driver 8 provides the resilience to push through adversity. Path to victory: Oliveira must survive the early onslaught, frustrate Topuria with kicks and clinches, and pull him into scrambles. If the fight hits the mat or goes late, his submission threats and fight IQ could take over. Final prediction: numerology meets technique. Ilia Topuria brings momentum, firepower, and the fearlessness of an undefeated fighter, powered by the bold energy of a double 3. But on a universal day 7, emotional control and timing rule, a domain that favors Charles Oliveira's life path 9 and driver 8 combination. Technically, Topuria may dominate early, but Oliveira's longer frame, submission arsenal, and veteran savvy give him tools to weather the storm and capitalize late. The numbers suggest this is a day for wisdom over wildness. I'm expecting Charles Oliveira to win by late submission or decision. Topuria may start fast, but the numerology and experience lean toward "Do Bronx," making one last title run. UFC 317 Flyweight title fight: Alexandre Pantoja vs. France. At UFC 317, the flyweight title is on the line as reigning champion Alexandre Pantoja faces Kiwi knockout artist France. It's a classic clash of styles, pressure grappler versus precision striker, but with both men carrying intense numerological energies, this matchup might be decided more by inner alignment than technique alone. On a universal day 7, the fighter who stays calm, calculated, and composed could leave with UFC gold. Alexandre Pantoja, record, 29-5. Born on April 16th and fighting out of Brazil, Alexandre Pantoja stands 5 feet 5 inches with a 67-inch reach, a relentless pressure grappler known for his cardio, chain submissions, and never-back-down mentality. Strengths: elite jiu-jitsu and scramble control. High pace with relentless forward movement. Durable and thrives in chaos. Weaknesses: takes a lot of damage in striking exchanges. Can fade in the 5th round. Sometimes sacrifices position hunting submissions. Numerology edge: Pantoja is a driver 7 and life path 3. On this Universal Day 7, his driver 7 aligns perfectly with the day's contemplative and timing-based energy, enhancing his focus and decision-making under pressure. However, his life path 3 brings creativity and expressiveness, which can either inspire fluid performance or, if unchecked, lead to emotional swings mid-fight. It's a balanced numerology profile, strong mentally if he remains composed. Path to victory: Pantoja should push the pace early, mixing grappling to drown Kai's rhythm, and drag the fight into deep waters. If he sticks to his grind and remains calculated, his cardio and control can carry him through 5 rounds or lead to a submission win. Kai Kara-France, record, 25-11. Born on March 26th and fighting out of New Zealand, Kai Kara-France stands 5 feet 4 inches with a 66.5-inch reach, a crisp, compact striker with knockout power and one of the sharpest counter games in the flyweight division. Strengths: precise boxing and elite counter-striking. Great footwork and defensive movement. Strong takedown defense and fast recoveries. Weaknesses: vulnerable under sustained grappling pressure. Can be overwhelmed if forced backwards. Less effective in championship rounds. Numerology edge: Kai is a driver 8 and life path 6. His life path 6 values control and balance, and while it doesn't naturally sync with Universal Day 7, it can still perform well with discipline. However, his driver 8, rooted in power and assertiveness, may feel off-rhythm on such a spiritually calm day, creating friction in execution under pressure. Path to victory: Kai needs to control the range, punish Pantoja's entries, and avoid being taken down. If he maintains distance and fights smart, he could land the cleaner shots and steal rounds, or even score a knockout. Final prediction: numerology meets technique. While Pantoja's driver 7 resonates with the day, his life path 3 can cause inconsistencies under pressure. Kai Kara-France enters with a more balanced numerology profile, a grounded life path 6, and a focused driver 8 that thrives when structure and stakes are high. Technically, if Kai avoids getting tangled up in the grappling, his sharp footwork, counter-striking, and discipline give him the upper hand. Numerology backs that calm, structured energy, ideal for a 5-round striking clinic. I'm expecting Kai Kara-France to win by decision to become the new UFC flyweight champion. Numerology and technique align for the Kiwi, as he dethrones Pantoja with composure, clarity, and sharp execution. Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. At UFC 317, the flyweight division gets a high-stakes battle between former title challenger Brandon Royval and surging prospect Joshua Van. It's the chaos of Royval's unpredictability versus the sharp aggression of Van, but on a reflective Universal Day 7, only the fighter with discipline and composure will thrive. Brandon Royval, record, 17-7. Born on August 16th and fighting out of Colorado, Brandon Raw Dog Royval stands 5 feet 9 inches with a 70.5-inch reach, a frantic, high-volume scrambler with slick submissions, non-stop pace, and an all-or-nothing style. Strengths: wild pace and creative striking. Dangerous submission game in scrambles. Relentless pressure and cardio. Weaknesses: can be reckless and overly aggressive. Leaves openings defensively. Gets caught in transitions due to chaos. Numerology edge: on a Universal Day 7, Royval's driver 7 is in perfect harmony with the day, giving him strong intuition, mental clarity, and enhanced timing. However, his life path 9 adds emotional intensity and a sense of urgency, which can push him to force things. If he channels both energies effectively, he becomes a dangerous, intuitive finisher. Path to victory: Royval needs to keep the fight chaotic. If he drags Van into scrambles, offbeat striking rhythms, and wild exchanges, he can catch a submission or overwhelm the younger fighter with tempo and unpredictability. Joshua Van, record, 14-2. Born on October 10th and fighting out of Houston, Joshua Van stands 5 feet 5 inches with a 65-inch reach, a composed striker with tight combinations, strong takedown defense, and emerging finishing instincts. Strengths: clean, technical boxing with fast hands. Strong composure for his age. Good balance of aggression and control. Weaknesses: less experienced in wild grappling scenarios. Can be hit clean when entering. Still growing into a full 3-round fighter. Numerology edge: his driver 1 represents leadership and assertiveness, perfect for a rising contender. His life path 5 brings freedom, adaptability, and energy. However, on a Universal Day 7, the scattered, impulsive energy of the 5 isn't in natural sync. If pushed into deep waters, that mismatch may show up as overaggression or mental lapses. Path to victory. Van needs to keep the fight standing, stay composed, and stick to fundamentals. If he uses his clean striking and avoids grappling chaos, he can outpoint Royval or potentially land a momentum-shifting shot. Final prediction: numerology meets technique. Joshua Van brings clean technique and sharp potential, but his life path 5 energy may clash with the spiritually still day 7. Brandon Royval, on the other hand, enters with a driver 7/life path 9, high intuition, spiritual awareness, and finishing intent. That combination thrives in the energy of this card. Technically, Royval's scrambles and creativity give him the edge against a less experienced, though talented, striker. I'm expecting Brandon Royval wins by submission. With numerology and chaos on his side, expect Raw Dog to drag Van into deep waters and finish him in a scramble-heavy war. Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. Lightweight fireworks are set to erupt at UFC 317 on June 28, 2025. Beneil Dariush takes on Renato Moicano in a pivotal bout where experience, grit, and numbers may decide the winner. This is a matchup of two men born in May 1989, just 15 days apart, but their numerology and paths couldn't be more different. Beneil Dariush, 22-6. Born on May 6 and fighting out of California, Beneil Dariush stands 5 feet 10 inches with a 72-inch reach, a pressure-heavy grappler with elite jiu-jitsu, crafty southpaw striking, and a calm, calculating approach to every fight. Strengths: world-class BJJ and top control, composed under pressure with high fight IQ, southpaw angles and unpredictable striking entries. Weaknesses: can be hurt early by power punchers, slows down in high-paced striking battles, struggles when forced into prolonged stand-up exchanges. Numerology edge: Dariush is a driver 6 and life path 2. On June 28, 2025, a universal day 7, his life path 2 don't directly aligns with the introspective and strategic nature of the 7. However, his nurturing driver May 6 lack the raw edge needed to dominate in volatile moments. Still, this combo suggests he's mentally ready and emotionally centered, ideal for methodical game plans. Path to victory. Beneil must initiate grappling early, tie up Moicano's weapons, and drown him in positional control. If he keeps it tactical and avoids risky brawls, his consistency and BJJ could grind out a decision or late submission. Renato Moicano, 20-6. Born on May 21 and fighting out of Brazil, Renato Money Moicano stands 5 feet 11 inches with a 72-inch reach, a sharp Muay Thai striker turned submission threat with passionate post-fight energy and an aggressive style to match. Strengths: strong jab and crisp Muay Thai fundamentals, excellent back takes and opportunistic submissions, high-pressure mindset with killer instinct. Weaknesses: gets reckless when chasing finishes, defensive lapses in exchanges, struggles with elite grapplers who control pace. Numerology edge: Moicano is a driver 3 and life path 8. On a universal day 7, his life path 8's focus and ambition can thrive if he channels it with discipline. The driver 3 energy, however, brings volatility, expressive but emotionally charged. When in sync, this mix can explode early, but if frustrated, it may spiral into inconsistency. Path to victory. Moicano needs to keep the fight standing, land sharp combinations early, and look to hurt Dariush before takedowns become a threat. If he can maintain range and pour on damage, he could force a stoppage or edge the judges with activity. Final prediction: numerology meets technique. Both fighters enter with similar experience levels, but starkly different energies. Dariush's life path 2 thrives in patience and timing. Moicano's life path 8 seeks power and dominance, but his driver 3 could make him overly emotional if things don't go his way. Technically, Dariush has the tools to out-grapple and out-control, especially if he weathers Moicano's early onslaught. But if Moicano maintains range discipline, he can land damage in volume and force mistakes. Still, numerology and composure favor Renato Moicano. His balanced energy and strategic mindset could be the difference. I'm expecting Renato Moicano to win by decision. The calm within chaos beats the storm, and patience might just be the key on this reflective day. Payton Talbott and Felipe Lima. Bantamweight prospects clash at UFC 317 as undefeated rising star Payton Talbott takes on Brazilian standout Felipe Lima. With both fighters boasting speed, youth, and finishing ability, this bout promises fireworks. But beneath the physical matchup lies a numerological battle, and on a universal day 7, patience, discipline, and timing could decide who rises and who falls. Payton Talbott, record 9-1. Born on September 9th and fighting out of Nevada, Payton Talbott stands 5 feet 10 inches with a 70-inch reach, a dynamic striker with crisp hands, fluid movement, and a high fight IQ for his age. Strengths: fast hands and excellent distance management, high output and composure under fire, Finishes with precision, especially in striking exchanges. Weaknesses. Still developing defensive wrestling. Can leave openings when chasing finishes. Limited time against top-tier grapplers. Numerology edge. Talbott is a driver 9 and life path 9, a double 9 fighter, spiritually charged with intensity, purpose, and a warrior's heart. On Universal Day 7, the calm and reflective energy doesn't completely harmonize with the 9's passionate drive, but can support clarity and deeper focus if channeled with discipline. Path to victory. Talbott must stay technical and composed, avoid overcommitting early. If he can manage range, land clean shots, and stay out of grappling trouble, his striking could overwhelm Lima by round 2 or 3. Felipe Lima, record, 14-1. Born on May 7th and fighting out of Brazil, Felipe Lima stands 5 feet 8 inches with a 69-inch reach, a well-rounded finisher with slick jiu-jitsu, sharp counters, and a high finishing rate. Strengths. Technical grappling with submission threats. Compact striking and good counters. Adaptable and calm under pressure. Weaknesses. Struggles against rangy strikers. Can be backed up and picked apart from range. Less comfortable when forced into striking heavy fights. Numerology edge. Lima is a driver 7 and life path 3. On a Universal Day 7, his driver 7 perfectly aligns with the energy of the day, bringing calmness, calculation, and focus. His life path 3 adds creativity and expression, but may struggle with consistency if he's overwhelmed early. Path to victory. Lima should aim to get inside early, initiate grappling exchanges, and wear Talbott down. If he can avoid the long-range striking battle and make it messy, he could take control on the mat. Final prediction, numerology meets technique. This is a fight of fire versus flow. Talbott's double 9 energy is powerful but risks emotional overreach on a reflective Day 7. Lima, with his driver 7, is numerologically tuned into the day's calm and methodical vibration, giving him a potential edge in patience and clarity. But technically, Talbott's size, range, and striking precision are hard to ignore, especially if he keeps it standing and fights smart. I'm expecting Felipe Lima to win by decision. If he stays composed, his technique and timing can outshine the numerological mismatch and keep his record intact. Jack Hermansson versus Gregory Rodrigues on UFC 317. Middleweight veterans collide as Sweden's Jack Hermansson meets Brazilian powerhouse Gregory Rodrigues in a pivotal bout. With both fighters looking to secure a spot in the rankings, expect high-level grappling, powerful striking, and a test of wills inside the cage. Jack Hermansson, 24-8-0. Born on June 10th and fighting out of Oslo, Norway, Jack the Joker, Hermansson stands 6 feet 1 inch with a 77.5-inch reach, a seasoned middleweight with strong wrestling, crafty submissions, and underrated cardio. Strengths. High-volume grappling and ground control. Excellent conditioning and fight IQ. Tough and durable with solid experience in top 15 bouts. Weaknesses. Striking defense can be leaky. Doesn't perform well under heavy pressure. Can be outpaced by younger, more explosive opponents. Numerology edge. Jack is a driver 1 and life path 6. On June 28, 2025, a Universal Day 7, the calm, introspective energy of the day doesn't fully complement his assertive driver 1. However, his life path 6, tied to discipline and responsibility, can flow well with the 7's reflective nature. Path to victory. Hermansson must use his grappling early to neutralize Rodrigues' power. If he can maintain top control and avoid trading on the feet, his volume and wrestling can grind out a decision or even earn a late submission. Gregory Rodrigues, 16-6. Born on February 17th and fighting out of Brazil, Gregory Robocop Rodrigues stands 6 feet 3 inches with a 75-inch reach, a powerful, athletic striker with dangerous jiu-jitsu and an all-action style. Strengths. Explosive power in both hands. Strong BJJ with knockout potential on the ground. Aggressive pace and killer instinct when hurting opponents. Weaknesses. Defensive lapses in brawls. Chin has been tested in wild exchanges. Can be reckless and lose composure under pressure. Numerology edge. Rodrigues is a driver 8 and life path 4. On this Universal Day 7, the grounded and methodical life path harmonizes well with the energy of calm calculation. His driver 8 brings strength and ambition, a potent combo when focused. Path to victory. Rodrigues needs to land heavy shots early, break Hermansson's rhythm, and either finish with strikes or overwhelm him with top pressure. If he can avoid the grappling traps, his explosiveness could end the fight quickly. Final prediction, numerology meets technique. Jack Hermansson brings the experience and cardio to drag opponents into deep waters, but his driver 1 energy isn't fully in tune with the Universal Day 7. Gregory Rodrigues, on the other hand, is numerologically better aligned, with a stable life path 4 and a powerful driver 8 ready to thrive in structured chaos. Technically, Rodrigues has the explosiveness and finishing instincts to cause major problems early. If Hermansson can't secure takedowns or slow the tempo, the Brazilian may not need long to land a fight-ending shot. I'm expecting Gregory Rodrigues to win by early TKO. With numerology and knockout power on his side, RoboCop is set to make a statement. Hayder Amil versus Jose Miguel Delgado. Event intro. Featherweight prospects collide at UFC 317 as the undefeated grinder Hayder Amil squares off against the explosive Mexican striker Jose Miguel Delgado. Both fighters bring action-packed styles and big ambitions, but underneath the surface, a shared life path 7 reveals a fight not just of skill, but of mental clarity, patience, and spiritual energy. On this Universal Day 7, their internal discipline will be tested as much as their chins. Hayder Amil, record, 11-0. Born on May 28th and fighting out of California, Hayder Amil stands 5 feet 8 inches with a 70-inch reach, a rugged pressure fighter with excellent cardio, relentless clinch work, and the composure to drag opponents into deep waters. Strengths: relentless pressure and pace, good clinch control and dirty boxing, mentally durable and thrives in gritty fights. Weaknesses: not a one-shot finisher, can be hit clean in open space, limited experience against elite dynamic strikers. Numerology edge: Amil is a driver 1 and life path 7. On a Universal Day 7, his life path aligns perfectly with the day, enhancing focus, timing, and inner discipline. His driver 1 adds determination, leadership, and the ability to take control. This powerful combo favors a composed, intelligent performance. Path to victory: Amil should apply steady pressure, break Delgado's rhythm, and force clinch exchanges. If he avoids firefights early and sticks to the grind, his gas tank and mental edge can take over late. Jose Miguel Delgado, record, 9-1. Born on April 21st and fighting out of Mexico, Jose Miguel Delgado stands 5 feet 9 inches with a 71-inch reach, a fast, explosive striker with crisp boxing, killer instinct, and early fight danger in every exchange. Strengths: quick hands and clean combinations, fast starter with knockout potential, agile footwork and offensive creativity. Weaknesses: can fade when pressured, susceptible to clinch and grinding styles, emotionally reactive when frustrated. Numerology edge: Delgado is a driver 3 and life path 7. While the life path 7 aligns well with the day, his driver 3 brings emotional expressiveness, flair, and bursts of brilliance, but can lead to inconsistency. If he maintains discipline, he can capitalize on openings, but if he gets frustrated, his flow breaks. Path to victory: Delgado needs to land early and often. If he can keep the fight standing, avoid being smothered, and use his speed advantage, he could end it before Amil establishes control. Final prediction: numerology meets technique. Both fighters share a life path 7, meaning they'll feel the influence of the day equally, but their driver numbers separate them. Amil's driver 1 brings focused intensity and control, while Delgado's driver 3 brings flashes of brilliance but can spiral under pressure. Technically, Amil's grinding style matches his numerology perfectly on this day, giving him the tools to wear Delgado down and stay undefeated. I'm expecting Hayder Amil to win by decision. With numerology and mental control on his side, Amil's structure beats chaos, 1 round at a time. Viviane Araújo versus Tracy Cortez. At UFC 317, the women's flyweight division sees a pivotal clash between Brazil's Viviane Araújo and the steadily rising American talent Tracy Cortez. This bout matches athletic power against patient control, but on a Universal Day 7, where calm focus and timing rule, the edge may go to the fighter who can stay composed and adapt under pressure. Viviane Araújo, record, 13-6. Born on November 21st and fighting out of Brazil, Viviane Araújo stands 5 feet 4 inches with a 68-inch reach, a high-level grappler known for her explosive takedowns, top pressure, and physical strength. Strengths: aggressive takedowns and powerful ground control, strong athleticism and physical strength, experience against ranked opponents. Weaknesses: tends to fade in later rounds, can be outpointed in striking exchanges, overextends when chasing control. Numerology edge: Viviane Araújo is a driver 3 and life path 2. On a Universal Day 7, her life path 2, intuitive, cooperative, and emotionally aware, can flow well with the reflective nature of the day. However, her driver 3 introduces emotional bursts and unpredictability. If frustrated or behind on the cards, she may struggle to stay composed and strategic. Path to victory: Araújo needs to set the tone early with pressure, takedowns, and top control. If she can dominate position and avoid extended striking exchanges, she can rack up points or grind her way to a decision. Tracy Cortez, record, 11-2. Born on December 10th and fighting out of Arizona, Tracy Cortez stands 5 feet 5 inches with a 65.5-inch reach, a calm, composed grappler with solid boxing fundamentals, and an excellent sense of control over the pace of a fight. Strengths: clean wrestling and clinch control, strong positional awareness and patience, disciplined approach and strategic movement. Weaknesses: low finishing rate, can be too conservative at times, needs to avoid being controlled early. Numerology edge: Tracy Cortez is a driver 1 and life path 8. Her driver 1 brings assertiveness, independence, and the will to lead, traits that shine under spotlight pressure. Her life path 8 thrives in structure and discipline, aligning effectively with the mental clarity demanded by a universal day 7. This gives Cortez a steady, focused presence, perfect for implementing a methodical game plan. Path to victory: Cortez must stay composed, defend early takedowns, and turn this into a battle of control and patience. If she can keep the fight standing or clinch to stall, she can edge out rounds with smart work and late fight momentum. Final prediction: numerology meets technique. Araújo brings early danger and athletic power, but her driver 3 energy can unravel under a calm, mentally focused universal day 7. Cortez enters with a more stable numerology profile. Her driver 1/life path A combo is well aligned with the day's energy, enhancing her ability to stay sharp, composed, and strategic for all 3 rounds. Technically and numerologically, Cortez has the tools to neutralize Araújo's storm and control the tempo. I'm expecting Tracy Cortez to win by decision. With steady energy and discipline, Cortez claims a tactical victory and moves 1 step closer to the top of the flyweight rankings. Terrance McKinney vs. Vyacheslav Borshchev. At UFC 317, fireworks are guaranteed as all-action lightweight finishers collide. Terrance McKinney, one of the UFC's fastest starters, takes on Russian striker Vyacheslav Borshchev. Both men bring danger in the first round, but with the event falling on a universal day 7, it's the fighter who combines explosiveness with patience that will likely walk away with the win. Terrance McKinney, record, 16-7. Born on September 15th and fighting out of Washington, Terrance T.Rex McKinney stands 5 feet 10 inches with a 74-inch reach, a high-voltage athlete known for his rapid starts, knockout power, and underrated submission game. Strengths: explosive knockout power and athleticism, fast starter with first-round finishes, solid wrestling base and dangerous submissions. Weaknesses: fades quickly after round 1, questionable gas tank in high-paced fights, vulnerable when put on the back foot. Numerology edge: McKinney is a driver 6 and life path 2. On a universal day 7, his life path 2, associated with sensitivity, intuition, and timing, flows harmoniously with the introspective, calculated nature of the day. His driver 6 brings responsibility, focus, and balance, helping temper his usual wild bursts. This is a rare alignment for McKinney, who could benefit from increased calm and fight IQ on this specific night. Path to victory: McKinney must fight smart, come out fast, but not reckless. If he mixes in takedowns and controls the tempo, he can finish early or dominate positionally before cardio becomes a concern. Vyacheslav Borshchev, record, 8-5. Born on January 8th and fighting out of Russia, Vyacheslav Slavaklaus Borshchev stands 5 feet 11 inches with a 72-inch reach, a technically sharp striker with kickboxing pedigree, crisp body shots, and dangerous counters. Strengths: high-level boxing and striking accuracy, great body work and shot selection, calm demeanor and solid striking defense. Weaknesses: poor takedown defense, limited bottom game if grounded, can be smothered by pressure grapplers. Numerology edge: Borshchev is a driver 8 and life path 3. On a universal day 7, his powerful driver 8 energy, built for ambition and dominance, doesn't naturally align with the quiet, introspective day 7 vibration. His life path 3, full of creativity and expression, can lead to brilliance in striking, but emotional volatility under pressure. This mismatch in energy suggests potential for frustration if things don't go his way early. Path to victory: Borshchev must survive the early blitz and keep the fight standing. If he can maintain distance and avoid the takedown, he can wear McKinney down and land a countershot that ends it. Final prediction: numerology meets technique. Both fighters bring finishing ability, but McKinney's driver 6 and life path 2 align far more fluidly with the universal day 7 than Borshchev's aggressive 8 out of 3 profile. Spiritually and emotionally, McKinney may show unusual patience, a rare but dangerous combination with his explosiveness. Technically, his wrestling advantage and first-round burst are major threats to Borshchev's takedown defense. If he blends his tools well, he has multiple paths to victory. I'm expecting Terrance McKinney to win by submission or TKO. With numerology and matchup advantages lining up, McKinney is poised to make another highlight at UFC 317. Niko Price versus Jacoby Smith. At UFC 317, expect chaos when wild welterweight finisher Niko Price takes on high-power wrestler Jacoby Smith. Both fighters thrive in pressure, but on a Universal Day 7, the fighter who can combine explosiveness with discipline will hold the edge when things get gritty. Niko Price, record, 16-8. Born on September 29th and fighting out of Florida, Niko the hybrid Price stands 6 feet 0 inches with a 76-inch reach, a creative, unpredictable brawler known for insane finishes from any position and relentless forward pressure. Strengths: wild, creative striking from all angles. Unpredictable offense, KO power anywhere. Durable and always looking to finish. Weaknesses: leaves openings in defense. Takes a lot of damage in brawls. Can lose structure in wild exchanges. Numerology edge. On a Universal Day 7, the calm and introspective nature of the day pairs reasonably with his life path 2, offering balance and adaptability. But his dual 2 energy also makes him emotionally reactive. If the chaos gets too wild, it may throw him off if he doesn't feel in control. Path to victory. Niko must keep the fight standing and in open space. If he can turn the bout into a wild firefight, his awkward power and creativity can break Jacoby's structure and potentially score a knockout. Jacoby Smith, record, 10-0. Born on January 17th and fighting out of Oklahoma, Jacoby Smith stands 5 feet 10 inches, a former NCAA Division I wrestler with explosive double legs, heavy top control, and grinding pressure. Strengths: elite wrestling background and strong top game. Composed pressure and chain grappling. Physically powerful with great pace. Weaknesses: striking still developing. Unproven in deep UFC waters. Needs to avoid brawls with finishers. Numerology edge. On a Universal Day 7, Smith's life path 7 is in perfect alignment with the spiritual and reflective energy of the day. That gives him an inner calm, precision, and focus edge. Combined with his driver 8, which thrives in ambition and control, he enters this fight with numerology strongly favoring a structured, dominant approach. Path to victory. Smith must avoid early chaos and stick to his game plan. If he imposes his wrestling and keeps Price grounded or pressed against the cage, he can dominate with position and grind out a clear win. Final prediction: numerology meets technique. Niko Price always brings the chaos, but his double 2 numerology can turn emotional fast, especially if things don't go his way. On a spiritually intense Day 7, his reactive tendencies may get the better of him. Meanwhile, Jacoby Smith walks in with a driver 8/life path 7, a powerful combo of structure, focus, and timing that aligns beautifully with the day's energy. Technically, Jacoby's wrestling, composure, and cardio give him the tools to control where this fight goes. Unless Price catches him early, the path is clear. I'm expecting Jacoby Smith to wins by dominant decision. With numerology and wrestling on his side, Smith grinds out a disciplined, breakout performance at UFC 317. Cedric Dumas and Jackson McVeigh. UFC 317 delivers a middleweight clash between rising talents as Florida's Cedric Dumas faces off against promotional newcomer Jackson McVeigh. Both bring unorthodox styles and knockout power, but on a spiritually reflective Universal Day 7, the fighter who blends patience with explosiveness could walk away with the momentum-changing win. Cedric Dumas, record, 10-3. Born on August 6th and fighting out of Florida, Cedric Dumas stands 6 feet 2 inches with a 79-inch reach, a long, rangy striker with tricky movement, creative offense, and solid submission instincts when the fight hits the mat. Strengths: long reach with dangerous kicks and elbows. Unique rhythm and awkward striking angles. Finishing instincts on both the feet and ground. Weaknesses: inconsistent output under pressure. Can get wild and lose technique in exchanges. Defensive grappling still developing. Numerology edge. Dumas is a driver 6 and life path 2. On a Universal Day 7, his life path 2, centered on adaptability, emotional balance, and awareness, syncs well with the introspective, slow burn energy of the day. His driver 6 promotes calmness, focus, and structure, giving him a better chance at managing pace and decision-making. Path to victory. Dumas should use his reach and control the tempo. If he keeps the fight long and avoids brawling, he can pick McVeigh apart and find a late finish or secure a decision. Jackson McVeigh, record, 6-0. Born on March 25th and fighting out of Texas, Jackson McVeigh stands 6 feet 1 inch, an explosive athlete making his UFC debut with fast hands, power kicks, and a reputation for pushing the pace early. Strengths: high-pressure striking and early aggression. Good finishing instincts. Confident and dangerous in round 1. Weaknesses: unproven at the UFC level. Unknown cardio over 3 rounds. May struggle if the early finish doesn't come. Numerology edge. His driver 7 is perfectly aligned with the Universal Day 7, giving him excellent timing, patience, and mental sharpness. But his life path 3, while expressive and explosive, can bring emotional swings or overeagerness, especially if things don't go according to plan. Path to victory. McVeigh should look to push a fast pace and catch Dumas before he settles into rhythm. If he starts strong and lands clean, he could score an emphatic debut finish, but he must avoid emotional burnout if it goes past round 1. Final prediction: numerology meets technique. This is a rare case where both fighters have strong numerological alignment, Dumas with driver 6/life path 2, and McVeigh with driver 7/life path 3. However, McVeigh's driver 7 resonates perfectly with the universal day 7, offering timing, sharp instincts, and mental clarity. Technically, Dumas holds the edge in experience, reach, and fight composure. But McVeigh's explosive style and better numerological sync, especially with his driver 7 matching the day, makes him a serious threat. I'm expecting Jackson McVeigh to win by early knockout. With numerology, energy, and momentum on his side, the newcomer might steal the show at UFC 317 with a statement-making debut finish. That's a wrap for UFC 317, Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. We've got 11 fights lined up, and I've locked in 5 underdogs you won't want to sleep on. Best underdog pick? Hayder Amil. This guy could shock the world. Most valuable pick? Terrance McKinney. Sharp, dangerous, and flying under the radar. If you're riding with the numbers, these are the ones to watch. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe to stay locked in with Fight Numerology, where numbers meet violence. Drop your picks in the comments. Let's see who you're backing this Saturday. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next UFC card prediction.